And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the RSL, the Revival StarCraft League Season 2 2025 European Server Qualifier. We just wrapped up our first qualifying match, Max. He's made it through into the main event, and we are here to determine the second player as we have our two final remaining players here in the qualifier. Congratulations to Jumy. I just gave an update in the Twitch chat, but Jumy did take down Gumiho 2-1, went all the way to the ace match, and Jumy came out on top. GG, well played. Very impressive play there by Jumy. Jumy, ay. Crazy performance. Just catching up in the chat. But yes, as people are mentioning, Jumy, he has been definitely on an upswing. He's definitely been spiking in skill. He has been improving so much. Despite that, still an upset for Jumy to take down Gumiho, but a very impressive result here. I will say the Jumy, sorry, I said Gumiho, god damn it. I will say that Jumy, he had a really strong start of the year. If you remember, leading up to DreamHack Dallas, Jumy, he was playing in everything. He was peaking in skill. He was very much so in form. And then he had a bit of a downswing after DreamHack Dallas, where I know he himself was very vocal about he was a little bit disappointed with his play. He maybe burned out a little bit. He maybe was grinding too much. He burned out a little bit post DreamHack Dallas. But great to see him back. Great to see him back, returning once again. As I would say, over the past month of play, like, he's been back on it again, back into full form, looking very strong, very impressive. Has even been excelling in the 2v2 tournaments, in the 2v2 circuit as well. Jumy has been excelling, coming second in his group, if I recall correctly. Has been a lot of fun. I see some people bringing that up as well. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun to cover the events. For those that are curious, for those, again, I'm sure there may be a lot of new viewers in the chat that don't know us, but we are adminning. We're running the Uthermal 2v2 event. Here on the CranKy Ducklings, we're working behind the scenes. Unfortunately, we're not casting it because we're, working on the event in another aspect, in another way. But we can cover it via replays if we wish. So we have replays if we wish. We can do that maybe if we have some free time, maybe next month or in a couple of weeks, depending on our schedule. But we are working behind the scenes to run it as smoothly as possible. I believe Steadfast and Wardy and of course Mark Uthermal have been casting it on their respective channels. But it has been a lot of fun. Has been a great breath of fresh air, especially coming into the off season of StarCraft, post EWC for sure. But here we go. We have our best of 5. Vetoes are done. We're jumping to game 1. Game 1 is going to be on Tokamak. Let's go. Meanwhile, big shout out to Flipper Flatcheck in the chat. God, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the 100 bits. Thank you. Do appreciate the support. Flapjack. Do appreciate it. We're jumping into our final series of the broadcast, and spawning in the top right hand corner of Tokamak, we have the Polish Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing Team Liquid. It is MaNa. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the German Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss representing Streamer Zone. It is Jumy. Jumiho. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamma time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat as we jump into our PvP. Coming into this tournament, Max and Gumiho were the top 2 seeded players in the entire bracket. Max made it through, but Gumiho did not. Jumy, he was the greater Gumi, if you will, greater Jumy. I was able to cause that upset, was able to bring him down, and was it all for naught? I'm sure MaNa is very thankful, by the way. He's like, phew, thank God. It's like you had to deal with him. Jumy. Thank you, puppy, thank you. So instead we have a PvP qualifying match instead. And honestly, this could go either way. I don't envy those predicting in the chat. 2-gate opener out of Jumy. MaNa going for the gate expand or gate cyber expand. A more greedy build here out of our red Protoss player. Jumy will have the option to punish. Jumy does have the option to go for a one-way solo in. There we go. Cybercore has been thrown down. So staying on a lower gateway count. Basically a variation of the Max opener here out of MaNa. He's going to be cutting corners. Jumy has yet to go further into the main, but there we go. We'll scout, we'll check, we'll confirm. We'll get eyes on the Cybercore. So big scout here for Jumy. He's aware. Aware of what's going on. We'll keep an eye on that probe. Likewise, second pylon has been thrown down, so MaNa, he counts pylons. He does confirm that there is no proxy. And he's safe. Yeah, he's safe to expand. No pylon block. Ooh, miscontrol there by Jumy. Ay, ay, ay. So ideally in this position, this probe is meant to pylon block and you force out the zealots, but alas, no zealot. No zealot does cancel, doesn't even need it as the base goes down. So a rough setup here for Jumy. Behind this has the potential to be aggressive. There's a pylon block from MaNa. Showing Jumy how it's done. Does get the pylon block. And this will delay. This will delay Jumy. Now he's showing down his expansion. MaNa going for a Robo follow-up, not a Stargate, going for his own immortal production. Very safe play here for MaNa. Coming into this, Jumy should have the Stalker advantage. He has extra gateways, should be going into a Twilight Council. Oh, actually, never mind, going for a Stargate, but should have the Stalker advantage. Hallucination does come in for a Scout, and MaNa, he gets in. Yeah, he gets in, he confirms the Stargate. He knows that he's going to be under threat of Oracle Harass. So as the Oracle's going to be on the way, behind this should be getting ready with shield batteries, Stalkers, and an army in position. So coming to game one, I do favor MaNa. Like MaNa, he has a greater economy, he has all the scouting information. It's going to be up to MaNa to just minimize losses, defend back at home, turtle on up, as here come those shield batteries. Shield batteries are on the way. Immortal production has begun. Hello, Jumy. What's going on? Okay. Interesting. Jumy, he does go for the Stargate immediately into the Twilight Council. This is very tech heavy, by the way. A lot of resources spent on tech. Twilight Council with the proxy pylon. This screams Dark Shrine. Well, there's no reason to proxy here unless we plan on going for a hidden tech structure. So Phoenix production has begun. We're leading towards ZTs. Jumy, he saw the Robo, though. Again, early Robo means early detection. Are we in fact going for the Dark Shrine? We have a gateway. Okay, we get charge. Whoa, okay. A charge. Okay, so he's not going to be going for any tech, but he's hiding his production. He's going for an all-in. Yeah, 2-base all-in. 2-base all-in out of Jumy. He hides the production. He's going to send it. He's going to send it across the map. Not going for Dark Templar. As he's building up Phoenixes. MaNa, he has a piece of the puzzle here. He's at least aware of the Phoenix production, which is a little bit more unorthodox. He's aware of the tech, he's just not aware of the gateways. He doesn't know about the all-in. And a massive mistake here. There could be actually, sorry, double Stargate? Wait, what? He's going double Stargate, double Mass Phoenix. Okay. So he gets baited and he responds with Mass Phoenix, which will not help against the Mass Charge Lock, by the way. We have a proxy pylon being set up. Proxy gateway. We have 2 gates at home, 2 gates proxied, and a final gateway across the map. So a 5-gate charge. So a 5-gate charge all in. Phoenix as they pick forward. Jumy, he scouts the second Stargate, should be feeling good. Again, the ground army is what's concerning. He does have 2 immortals, does have some force fields at least. True. Does have a couple of force fields. Army is moving out. The charge is complete. He's throwing down a 6th gateway. I believe. Yeah. Getting up to 6th gate. So 2-base 6th gate all in. No extra gases. Zelta have arrived. And MaNa, good read here. He does wall up. Yes, he's the army. Yeah, he does wall up. Zelta trying to charge in. Nice. I mean, nice choke point. Very nice choke point. And remember, the longer this game goes on, the better it is for MaNa. MaNa just has to survive. MaNa takes out one of the Phoenixes. Behind this, Jumy forced to expand. He didn't want to. Didn't want to expand, but the all-in has failed. Yeah, this is why the all-in has failed. You can see just a greater wall here, another gateway. MaNa, he defends beautifully. And Jumy forced to back off. He's forced to back off. All these gateways, they were for nothing. The Zealot Warpins as well. Forced to expand, taking gases, and taking up. Taking up into Archons. No forged yet. Has to work towards those upgrades. Anti-air is quite limited currently here for Jumy, so the Mass Phoenix from MaNa can actually excel. Moving out. It's going to be 8 pieces versus 4. The Archon is done though. Resets the Phoenix count. Nice snipes. Takes all the pieces. The Archon's being left behind. Again, not the most mobile units. Getting further into the bases. And Jumy just getting torn apart here. Losing so many probes. It's going to be 12 probes going down. MaNa, he breaks out. Oh, locks down the army. Make sure there is no escape. Say walk away the other side. Do spill out the other side. There's still a lot of zealots here. MaNa, he has to respect it. Pulls back. He pulls back. Forced to cancel. Okay. Jumy containing MaNa at least. Does contain. Again, Jumy, he wants to fight out in the open. So MaNa, he's just pinned back. Ooh, there's nothing. Oh god. There's nothing to defend. Yeah, there's nothing here. Goes to the mineral line. Probe's going to be going down. Oof. And Jumy just can't do much about it. At the same time, just warping it across the map. Building on more charge lots. These Phoenixes are running out of energy. True. They are running out. MaNa getting to his own Archon production. Jumy bleeds out more probes. And I'm hoping that Jumy doesn't get impatient. Again, Jumy should not push in. Like, should not push into the natural, but he can wait for the army to move out. But is it too late? Yeah, Phoenix as they race back, they're going for the Stalkers. Archons have arrived. The Zealots, they just melt against the Archons, and every Zealot goes down. MaNa, he breaks out. He breaks out, he overwhelms. Gets on top of the Archons. He has massive model behind this. And Jumy's just been outscaled. GG gets called. The 2-base all-in fails. And MaNa, he will survive. He will defend. He will take game number 1. GG. Again, a really cheeky build out of Jumy to go for the hidden gateways. I did appreciate that, but MaNa, he was able to get his observer across the map. Sorry, not observer. He was able to get the hallucination across the map. He did recognize what was going on. He fully walled up the natural and he defended. He defended quite nicely. If he wasn't able to get a read on what was happening, if he failed to wall up in time, then most likely Jumy would have broken MaNa. But with all that SimCity, with all those gateways, Jumy couldn't engage with those zealots. He could not push in, and he was just stuck outside. It was just stuck outside the bases. The mass Phoenix response from MaNa worked beautifully when it came to counterattacking, shutting down the Phoenixes, and getting economic damage done across the map. GG. GG, well played. With that, we're getting into game number 2, and we'll see if MaNa can extend his lead. We'll see if Jumy can bounce back. As again, bearing in mind that there wasn't really much to read into for game 1. Game 1 was just a very specific build. It was a very specialized build from Jumy, trying to go for an all-in and trying to fake out his opponent. Don't know if it's quite indicative of the rest of the series, but we'll see. As spawning in the top left-hand corner of MaNa, we have the Polish Protoss player. We have the Red Protoss representing Team Liquid, leading the series 1-0. It is MaNa. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the Blue Protoss player from the land of Germany, representing Streamer Zone. Down in the series, we'll see if he can bounce back. We'll see if he can make a series out of this. It is Jumy. Now again, MaNa did go for a more greedy build last game, going for a Gate Cyber Expand. Jumy, it took him a little bit longer to scout to realize what was going on, so he wasn't able to punish early on. We'll see if that changes here. As probes are moving out. Gases are being taken. 2-gate opener out of Jumy. Once again, we have a greedier build here by MaNa. Single gateway into a Nexus, or a gate into Cybercore into expansion. And Jumy, once he scouts this, he can respond with an all-in. Remember last game, it took him a little bit longer to scout, and he also failed to pylon block as well. True, like there was a lot that kind of went a little bit wrong for Jumy early on. Hello. As Jumy, he does hide his second pylon. Okay, so MaNa, he's in the main base and he's scouting for the pylon. He's searching, he's scouting, checking to figure out what's going on. For all he knows, it could be real, it could be fake. We can see here that, of course, it's going to be a fake proxy pylon here out of Jumy. He's not committing to an all-in, but MaNa, he may react defensively, he may overreact as well. Oh. Yeah, as this time Jumy, he's blocking. This time he's paying attention. He will delay. MaNa throwing down a Stargate. So Stargate before Nexus, just because he cannot throw one down. Ooh, as he does get the Nexus. No pylon block. Jumy's he does proxy, by the way. He's not proxying a robo across the map, but he does hide his tech, going for a Twilight Council before expanding. Okay. Este Jumy. Now with this we can go into a proxy gateway and go into 4-gate blink into a 1-base all-in, or we could proxy the Dark Shrine and go into DTs. But again, MaNa's playing so safe. Stargate into Robo. Blink is on the way. Okay, so it's gonna be blink, so we should be seeing extra gateways, and it's gonna be a blink all-in. There's a 3rd gateway. We're waiting for a 4th gateway as well. MaNa still scouting. He will poke in, he will confirm there is no Nexus. MaNa does confirm, goes further into the main, he gets in. Does spot the extra gateway. That's a sign. Is a tell. Is a tell there's something wrong. We're getting shield batteries here in the main base as well. There's 2 probes that go down. The pylon has been scouted. This is meant to be the reinforcing pylon for the proxy. Oh, that's not the second probe gets caught out. Ay, 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 and here comes the warp in, but we're slow warp ins here. As there should be a gateway alongside this pylon. Again, we have, I think, 4. Yeah, 4 gateways back at home. No fast warp ins. MaNa is aware. He's making immortals back at home as well. He's already got 1. So far, MaNa, he's just all over this. Jumy pushing forward. Going for the shield battery. Blink is almost complete. That's going to be a little stall because he can soon dive. Yeah, he can soon dive in. There we go. Does go for the dive. Does go for the first immortal. I'm going to take so many volleys. There's so many volleys here. Oh my god, it's so sturdy. It's so immortal. Down to 1. That was how many? That was 3 Stalkers going down. But he takes over the natural. And remember, Jumy's 1-base all-in. Remember, he's 1-base all-in, so MaNa, he doesn't have to fight for the natural. Doesn't have to. You could argue that was a bit of a mistake from MaNa, overextending. Trying to save his natural base. Whereas he could just give it up and focus on the main. Oh, nice save. Yeah, very nice save. Oh my god. Very nice save here. Does juggle back. Oh, but the prison does go down. The boys are being pulled, but they're a little bit late. And Jumy, he can still pull this off. Yeah, takes out all the immortals. Takes down the pieces as well. And yeah, MaNa, he gets punished for trying to save his own natural. Ay, ay, ay. Too greedy there out of MaNa. Yeah, too much greed, and this is getting out of hand. Getting out of hand, getting control. Depowers the robo. 1 immortal pops out. And Jumy, here to make a series. Here to make a series out of this. Game 1, the 2-base all-in failed, but here at game 2, 1-base all-in. Pops off. Despite it being delayed again, maybe MaNa just being overconfident. I want to say just overconfidence out of MaNa. Because he saw everything he needed to. He saw the lack of expansion, and there we go. GG gets called. Jumy pops off, he overwhelms, and Jumy ties up the series 1-1. GG. Whew. GG, well played. We have that back and forth. Again, MaNa, he scouted the lack of expansion. He scouted the proxy pylon. He saw the additional gateways. He saw the reinforcing probe as well that was trying to get across the map. He saw everything he needed to. He was even responding with immortal production and setting up defensively. But as you mentioned, it was a 1-base all-in, and MaNa was being a little bit too greedy trying to hold on to that natural. As a result as well, he also invested into, it was a what? Pylon, 2 shield batteries, 2 to 3 shield batteries as well. on the low grounds. I lost the Immortal, he tried to hold on, and again, just maybe a little bit overly ambitious there from MaNa with that. Was overwhelmed, and now we're getting into our next game. And we'll see who takes the lead. We'll see who takes the lead in this series, as up next we're loading into Ultra Love. Here we go. Loading into Ultra Love. A smaller map in the map pool, but we do have a ramp coming into the natural. There's a lot to get into here, but Ultra Love is a very unique map, specifically for PvPs. Let's go. As we could be getting into Phoenix Wars, but we'll get into it. As spawning in the top right hand corner of Ultra Love, we have our Polish Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing Team Liquid, being forced into a tied series. We'll see if we can take a lead. We'll see if we can bring it back. It is MaNa. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the blue Protoss player, the German Protoss representing Streamer Zone. It is Jumy. We're getting into our PvP, and we're setting up on the low ground. Now, this is a big feature here for Ultra Love. That is a ramp. The ramp coming into the natural means that it is much more viable to open up with a gate into Cybercore, into Nexus, with a Stargate as well, and to open up with a more greedy opener and a more greedy style. This is more viable, this is more standard, this is more meta, which is what we should be seeing out of Jumy. But Jumy sets up on the high ground. Very interesting here. He forgoes that ramp, he forgoes the low ground, sets up on the high ground instead, which means Jumy, he could try to all in. The problem though is that the natural is so much more defendable. Because of the ramp, because of the high ground, it is so much easier to defend against one-base all-ins, which is why it is considered normal to go for a more greedy build. As we have our 2-gate opener out of Jumy. And we'll see if he tries to break the defenses of MaNa. He might even try to fake him out. True. He might just try to fake him out and expand behind it anyway. As Jumy, once again, he hides the pylon. Yeah, once again, he hides the pylon, so it does look like he's trying to fake out his opponent. I say that, last game, he actually made use of the pylon, and he did proxy the Twilight Council, true. But I can't imagine he'll go for the same build 2 games in a row. There's a pylon block. Does force out the Zealots. Ooh, but the Nexus is going to be placed. And MaNa does expand. Barely expand in time. So MaNa gets in. Quite greedy, going for the Nexus before any kind of tech structure, Robo or Stargate. And again, Jumy's not making use of this pylon. A really good read here by MaNa. MaNa, he calls his bluff, essentially. Oh, just the Jumy, as he sneaks the pylon into the main base. Okay. Yo, Ashbringer, is that you? I can't remember. It's either Ashbringer or Exo Striker, one of the two that would often do this in PvP. I say often, would always do this in PvP. Robo open out of MaNa. Pylon is done, which means we can warp into depth straight into the main. Once Warp Gate is done. As MaNa finds the fake pylon. I mean, it's real, but the fake proxy. This Warp Gate is still on the way. Jumy holding his breath. Don't let him notice. Duh. Going for a Twilight Council, working towards, I would imagine, Blink. Hallucination does scout the later expansion. MaNa does take an economic lead. But Warp Gate is just not done. And here comes the Warp In, warping into depth straight into the main base. Depth taking one-shot probes. And again, MaNa, he has no idea. He does have a safety shield battery in the main, but the shield battery, it will not help. This is what are we greedy enough to wait for another Warp In? No shot. Are we waiting? Okay. It's going in. Does head into the main. Nice mining time. Gets a couple of probe kills. Gets a nice wall mining. MaNa out of position. Forced back into the natural. Nice force field. Nice force field. Does force a recall. No major losses. MaNa, calm down. Okay. Losing one probe. Did lose a lot of mining time, to be fair. Even for a moment there was zero mining going on. But he finds a pylon, and this could have been so much worse. MaNa. Okay. Again, just a really fast reaction. Very clean defense. MaNa's moving out. And we'll see what Jumy can get done. Jumy's still working on Blink, setting up defensively. MaNa, he will have, I believe, one Immortal. End up say failed to shade in. MaNa does wall off in time. Another proxy pylon. Threatening a dive. At the same time, pushing up the ramp, does get force fielded. And nice force fields the Immortal to 0 damage. Oh. Rush save. Sentry still goes down. The Immortal just cannot engage. Yeah, he cannot engage. Jumy, he is holding, he's defending. He's going for the Immortal. And MaNa, he should not lose it. He does pull out. He pulls out, Blink is done. MaNa gets punished, and he will lose everything. The Prism goes down, the Immortal goes down as well. MaNa, does overextend, should not have been there. We'll lose the army, and MaNa, he loses so much momentum. The proxy gateway is now done. Jumy, he zooms across the map. How many gateways are we on? 4. Getting up to 5. So there's going to be a 2 base 5 gate setup. Blink is now done, +1 is on the way. Jumy, he's going for a nice force field. Locks down one of the Immortals. We'll target it down. We'll get an Immortal. There's one Immortal left. Likewise, moving forward. It's going to be close here. It looks like he will barely get the second Immortal. Second Immortal goes down. Reinforcements are a little bit delayed. The pylon is further back. Again, MaNa is hurting. Jumy, he does reinforce. Does dive on in. Gets into the main base, going for the Zealots. Bit of an awkward Blink here from Jumy as he is trapped in. Still getting value. Snipes the War Prism. Oh god. Snipes the Prism. Behind this, Jumy's expanding. He's not all in. He's working on the next step. Just crippling MaNa. +1 on the way. We have Glaives on the way as well. As charge is done. MaNa, he's holding. He's holding on. Jumy, he backs the hell off. Again, working towards Glaive. Glaive ups, they actually do quite well against specifically Charge Ults and Immortals. They tank well against Immortals. They buffer well against Zealots. Army gets spotted. I believe the Templar Archives is done for MaNa. So he can warp in Archons. Speaking of, here they come. 6 High Templar. 3 Archons on the way. We'll see if Jumy can hold on. Okay, that's a lot of Archons. Trying to come in from behind. Going for the Archon. Not quite the Prism. And chasing MaNa down, engaging at a time. At the same time, Zealots, they do hit the mineral line. After their defenses. Yeah, their defense is back at home. Jumy, he holds, he can focus on the push. He gets one of the Archons. And MaNa, he's running out of steam. He's running out of steam. Losing an Archon is brutal. The Zealot Rabbi did no damage. MaNa, he's still on 2 bases, still has not expanded. And the longer this goes on, the better it is for Jumy. Oh. Does come to the shade. Again, still no expansion. Still no base. Jumy now getting to charge. And Jumy, all he has to do is contain. Just move out. He doesn't have to push up the ramp into this natural. As there's quite a lot waiting for him. Just park his army outside. Contain MaNa. So MaNa's getting into the natural. MaNa's deflected. Oh, Jumy getting caught out himself a little bit here. Has to back off. Has to respect those zealots. Jumy has to pull away. Building up back at home. MaNa, he's all in. At this point, he's completely all in. It's all or nothing for MaNa. +2 may not factor in. It's being chronoed as we speak. MaNa, he has 3 immortals. It's 5 archons. Again, the back of the army is solid. But Jumy kites back to the shield batteries. Tops up his army. MaNa peeling off into the natural. Sends in a couple of zealots. Jumy having a hard time engaging. Zealots, they pushing into the natural waste, they breaking through. Yeah, gets into the middle line, getting on top of the robo, gets up the ramp as well. Yeah, MaNa, he outpositions Jumy. Takes over the ramp. Jumy pushing up into a choke point. Yeah, the best fight that MaNa could hope for. Takes down the middle line. 22 Pro is going to be going down. Takes down the robo as well. Yeah, and a really awkward engage here from Jumy. Yeah, he cannot push up this. Yeah, the Immortals just go to town on those stalkers. And MaNa, despite things looking dire here, he takes over the natural, pushes into the main base. The natural base is going to go down. And again, Jumy, he's just stuck. He's stuck outside. As he mentioned, just completely out of position. Jumy pushing up into his own main. Ay, ay, ay. Depowers the gateways. And MaNa, he pops off. He pops off. Jumy slowly breaking through. We're wasting some DPS here on the gateways. There we go. Zealots turn back around. They get on top of the stalkers. And MaNa, he's done it. MaNa, he has done it. He takes over again. Jumy, he had the bases, he had the economy, he had the army, but GG, and MaNa, he will take the game and take a lead in the series at 2-1. GG. MaNa. Again, Jumy, he was out of position. He was unable to catch the army ahead of time to slow it down. Likewise, his army was stuck and pinned at his third, and there was an opening right into the natural. There was an opening, and MaNa, he just walked up the ramp, which means he had the greater concave. The choke point was in MaNa's favor. Jumy was stuck on the low ground, pushing up the ramp into his own natural base, and MaNa took the best fight he could have, the best fight possible there. It's crazy. GG. GG, well played. With that, MaNa does take the game, and now we're getting into game number 4, and we'll see if MaNa can close it out here and now and qualify, or if Jumy can force the ace match. Let's go. Here we go. Beautiful macro and micro. I would say more so like micro and positioning more than anything. Again, like MaNa, he was stuck all in. Like MaNa, he had to end the game then and there. If the game went any longer, then +2 would kick in, the economy would excel, and Jumy would just overwhelm. So MaNa, he had to strike then and there, and was able to pull it off. And here we go. We're now getting into our next game, and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Persephone, we have the Polish Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing Team Liquid, leading the series 2-1. It is MaNa. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the German Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss representing Streamer Zone. It is Jumy. Here we go. And again, Jumy, he played the previous game so well. He was ahead in economy, ahead in bases, ahead when it came to the size of the army as well. He was down when it came to, I guess, the quality, when it came to the immortals, when it came to the archons. Like, that definitely was in favor of MaNa. But you could see the frustrations out of Jumy in that last game, just because he knew that he was ahead. He knew that he was in a better position, And slipped away. The 1G, papi, the 1G. Jumy. We'll see if he can tighten up. Again, regardless of how this goes, I'd love to see an ace match. Give us a game 5. As once again, we do have MaNa opening up with a single gateway. He, as you can see, has been very fond of this throughout the entire series. Not just series, but just in PvP over the past couple of months. Just going for his own, in a way, max opener. Jumy opening up 2 gate. Jumy, he does have the option once again to try to set up across the map, but his pylon is back at home. This time, no fake out. For the past 2 games, we've seen pylon's been thrown down at the 3rd location. Here, the pylon is in the main. And MaNa scouts. He scouts, he confirms the positioning of the pylon, he knows that he is safe. He is safe. We have a tech of choice going for the Twilight Council. We have the probe out on the map as well. My eyes are on this probe. We can still throw this into a delayed 1-base all-in with the proxy 3rd pylon instead. So we have 2 pylons back at home, and we're setting up, for the 3rd pylon. So this is going to hit oh, actually, never mind. Does expand. Okay. Does expand, does take a 3rd. The probe is still being active. Pylon is being thrown down, but Jumy does have the expansion. Now, I do know that there is a build where Jumy goes for a fake natural. So my eyes are still on Jumy. What do you have for us? Pylon is done. We have a 3-gate setup currently. Yep, going for the Glaive Adepts. And going for the 4th gate. So this should be 4-gate Glaives out of Jumy. Now, if I remember correctly, this is meant to hard counter a Stargate opener. Has Jumy scouted? Ooh, okay. If we had a Stargate instead, then Jumy can excel, but it's going to be a Robo follow-up instead out of MaNa. Like, this is a very niche build that Jumy's going for. We've seen it before. We've seen Jumy punish certain players. But if I remember correctly, it's meant to be against Stargate. Just because there's that much less to defend on the ground. So here we go. Jumy does rally across the map. Prism into the main. Going mass. He's going for the force fields. Let's go. The mass sentry drop. That's 4 sentries. Now from here, I believe he should be going into the main base. And what he does is he force fields the probes and he traps them into the main. Does lock him in. There we go. Oh no. Oh, does lock down a couple of probes. Some of them do get away. That's still going to be 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh god, he does line at the mineral line. At the same time, Adepts, they do bust in. Adepts, they get across the map. We have defensive Adepts. Yeah, 7 probe kills here with the sentries. Once again, locks them in. Locks down the probes. Immortal does defend. So Adepts, they do get into the main base. Damage is being done. But MaNa does take a lead. MaNa takes the lead. The sentries do survive. Force fields the rim. Oh no, he left one behind. Oh my god. Ooh, Prism goes down. Yeah, a bit of miscontrol there by MaNa. Ay, that should not have happened. He came back for that 1 sentry, lost everything as a result. So MaNa getting a little bit greedy there. And now it's go time. now we have to counterattack. Let's go. Warping across the map. Jumy, he has to commit. And we'll see if MaNa can hold on. Again, MaNa making some mistakes. Jumy trying to punish, trying to capitalize. As again, trying to dive on this army, it's not going to work out. Does go for the mineral line. Focusing down the shield battery, okay. Does focus on the battery. Gets a couple of workers. Battery goes down. Can Jumy get on top of those immortals? Force a recall. Gets 7 probes. True. 7 workers. Jumy, as it was recalling, you saw the Prism. Prism is moving out, so Jumy, he responds. So that's still a lot of adepts. Bearing in mind there's no blink, so the anti-air here is quite limited for Jumy, which is why the Prism should not be going down. Going for the pylon. Powers 2 gates, not bad. His gateways, he can just straight up fight the Stalkers. Gets 1, 2, 3 Stalkers going down. The Immortals, they pop up. Second minute. Oh, that was all off in time. Anyway, yeah, they're just popping off. They're popping off, going for another pylon, depowering even more. GG gets called. The Immortals, they pop up, and MaNa, he will claim the series 3-1, qualifying for the next season of the Revival StarCraft League. GG. GG, well played. A cheeky build there out of Jumy, blindly going 4-gate Masquerade Adepts. But as we mentioned, that can work, that can excel in PvP. But if I'm not mistaken, I believe it is meant to work against a Stargate follow-up, not a Robo. Just because there won't be any mortals on the ground to defend, just because you can abuse that a little bit more and deal even more damage. Alas, instead, MaNa, he was able to counterattack, able to pop off with his own sentry drop. Again, 4 sentries designed to force field the mineral line to lock the probes in, and we saw so many probes going down. MaNa did slip up, he did lose the Prism, which gave Jumy a chance to recover, but alas, it was just too much on the ground across the map. He just could not break that main army. GG. GG, well played. Eventually, Jumy was outscaled, and MaNa does qualify. Congratulations here to MaNa. Congratulations to Max, as we can switch our scenes over and catch up on the bracket, catch up on the matches. Here we go. Here we go. Whew, again, that wraps up the final qualifiers here, as Max takes down Percival 3-0. Was a dominant performance there out of Max in that upper bracket match. Likewise, we had MaNa versus Jumy. This was more back and forth, and again, I can see this easily going to the ace match. I'm still thinking about that game on Tokamak, the game where Jumy, he was ahead, it was up on bases, up on economy, where he was crippling MaNa, and MaNa was forced into a 2-base all-in. I could see that game going Jumy's way. Sorry, not on Tokamak, on Ultra Love. That was the game where MaNa was able to outposition, get on top of the ramp, and have the best fight he could have hoped for. Right? Like, there's a world out there where Jumy, he's in a better position, where he has a better split of his army, where he denies that from happening, and he defends, he survives, and then suddenly we can get all the way into the ace match, but alas, in the end, MaNa, he brought it back. So very impressive play there out of MaNa, very tenacious play out of MaNa. I don't want to take away from Jumy, because remember, Jumy, he took down the number 2 seed of the tournament, Gumiho. He was favored to qualify, to make it through, to qualify alongside Max, but Jumy did stop that from happening, did knock him down. As I mentioned before, I'm sure MaNa's very thankful. I'm sure he's like, oh, thank God. Jumy, aye. Thank God, took down Gumiho. So again, still impressive play there by Jumy nonetheless, but congratulations to MaNa. And we can also take a moment here to go over the overall tournament, the greater bracket. Here we go. Un momento. As I have to set up the scene. Beautiful. Okay. Bam. Here we have our Wikipedia page, exclamation mark, be in the chat to have a look at the back yourselves. We do have our page here, the main page I should say, and we have our invited players. So we have our top players from Season 1. From Season 1, we have Classic, Björn, Kjor, Chem, Raynor, and Shin. We have 3 Zerg players, 2 Terrans, and 1 Protoss being invited from Season 1. So we have our top 6, and we have our players confirmed from the qualifiers. We have Estrella and SOS from the Americas qualifier. We have Creator and Maru from the Korean qualifier, and MaNa and Max from the European qualifier. So we have our confirmed players here for Season 2 of the Revival StarCraft League. Pretty solid lineup here overall, but it's not over. It's not done. I mean, the qualifiers are done, they're wrapped up, but we have, as you can see here, a fan vote. There's still 4 additional players that can be voted in to the main tournament. on the fans, from the fans, by the fans. Now, when I say fans, I don't know if that should be fan vote or that should be Patreon vote. I believe you have to be a patron to gain access to the ability to actually vote for who you want in. So if I'm not mistaken, patrons will have that ability, will have the ability to place their votes, to place on who they want to vote on, who they want to be a part of the tournament. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I believe the parameter for that, the restriction for that, is that only players that played in the qualifiers are eligible to be voted on. Otherwise, people could like randomly vote for like, I don't know, Stefano, or just like they can put any name like in the hat, and they can all just like decide to vote on that one player that there's a very low chance of them actually playing. So again, I believe that is the prerequisite, is that players that have played in the qualifiers that have shown interest in actually participating in RSL are going to be eligible to be voted on, which means players like who? Players like Gumiho. True, Jumy as well. Gumiho, Jumy, Geralt, Young Yakov, Shameless. Just as an example, some of the players here that did participate, that didn't quite make it through, are going to be eligible for voting. So we could still see some of these players take part in the main tournament. Oh boy. Here we go. I think there's a higher I was gonna say there's a high chance that we're gonna get a Zerg player voted in, but the problem is that Zerg player has to have played, right? Like, out of the Zerg players, we had Hatsu, Yakov. True, we had Yakov in this tournament, in this bracket. I think that's it. I think we had Hatsu and Yakov. So I think we only had 2 Zerg players here. Double checking. Let's see. You know what? Let's just have a look together at the qualifiers. Hold on. Let's have a look here. So here we had the Americas qualifier. Bam. Here we had the Americas qualifier. Here we had Gumiho. Hey, Gumiho once again. I hope that Gumiho's voted in. Like, Gumiho, he played in the European qual. Like, right now, it is, fun fact, it is almost 6 a.m. by the way. It's almost 6 a.m. in the morning here in Australia, which means it's around 5 a.m. for Gumiho. So for Gumiho to stay up, to play in this qualifier, and Percival as well, is crazy. So mad respect to both Gumiho and Percival for staying up and going full degen. Am I giving them too much credit? Are they just always full degen? Are they just playing until like 7, 8 a.m. in the morning anyway? Possible, but regardless, really cool to see Gumiho playing tonight. This was the Americas qualifier. So here we had Gumiho, here we had Nice, we had Mute, we had Creator, true, but Creator, he already made it in. So not too many notables in the Americas qualifier. Let's head on over to the Korean qualifier here. Let's have a look. So the Korean qualifier was featuring Korean qualifier. We had Maru qualifying, we had Creator qualifying. Here we have Nightmare. Here we have a little bit more variety, in a sense. We have Nightmare, we have Ryung, we have Zound. True, Percival, he popped off against Zound, taking him down 2-0. This is another player where, hey, Percival, he took down Zound. Percival, he went up against Max. You know, also worthy of a vote for sure. But Zound, he'd also be eligible. We have Lancer, aka Cyan. We have Ryung, of course. We have Lemon. True. Get some Lemon in there. I think we had Rex. No, yeah, Rex didn't play. Rex, he forfeited, if I remember correctly. So Rex didn't play. So we have a couple of players here. We have a couple of players that we can, of course, consider. I don't see any big Zerg players outside of... I think Young Yakov is maybe the highest rated Zerg player that'll be eligible for a fan vote. So I feel like if we wanted another Zerg player, it'd probably be Young Yakov. Otherwise, Protoss and Terran representation. Again, like I'm hoping that maybe Gumiho I'm sure Gumiho would. Like Gumiho, he's got a lot of fans. He's got a lot of fans out there, so I'm sure they'd get behind Gumiho. Zound is maybe another big pick that would make it through the fan votes. Nightmare would be a lot of fun. Percival would be a lot of fun. So best of luck. Best of luck to all the players. No hero. Unfortunately, we are missing some key players compared to the previous season. No Clem, for example. But if you know anything about what's happening currently in StarCraft, you know that Clem, he's on vacation. Clem is in Croatia. Clem, he had to forfeit his slot in the Euthermal tournament in the Euthermal 2v2 circuit because he is currently taking a break after EWC. He doesn't have access to a PC to play StarCraft. So Clem is on vacation. I'm sure some of the other top players are also on vacation as well after EWC, where they're taking some time off. So there are some players that are missing. Maru's not, like Maru's there for sure. But I'm thinking of Serral, I'm thinking of Serral, I'm thinking of Clem. Those are the two that come to mind. Raynor, he will be a part of the tournament. He was invited in. But I think of Clem and Serral at least. And I guess Hero as well. And also, did I miss it? Classic's in, right? Let's see. I'm pretty sure Classic got invited, right? Into the main events. I already forgot which players I named earlier. Yeah, Classic's in. So I believe Hero also... Yeah, Hero, he's also kind of like taking a bit of a step back and taking a break. As Classic was invited due to his performance in Season 1. So yeah, with that, we're wrapping up. With that, we're going to be wrapping up here for the time being. Again, keep your eyes open for the fan votes for who does make it through and who does get invited in. Again, my predictions for the fan votes are probably Gumiho. I feel like Gumiho's the sure thing. Gumiho, maybe Jumy. I think there's a lot of hype around Jumy. I think Jumy's gotten enough attention recently that maybe they do go for him. Zaun, I feel like Zaun's probably going to be voted on. Zaun, Gumiho, maybe Jumy, and then my hope is Young Yakov, but we'll see. that's what I'm placing for the time being. But best of luck to all those that do participate in the voting. Best of luck. Otherwise, we are going to be wrapping up. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. Again, it is very, very, very early in the morning here, and question is, do I stay up or do I go to bed? Is the question, because, man, we have our weekly schedule. We just wrapped up with our Wednesday morning broadcast. You can see it began at 2 a.m. KST, and our next broadcast on Wednesday, hold on, I'll clean this up a little bit. Let's see. Bam. Our next broadcast is going to be Pegasus Cup. That's going to be at 9 a.m. KST. That's going to be 10 a.m. AEST. That's going to be in 4 hours. In 4 hours time. But as I mentioned before, I don't know if I'm going to cast that. We're slated to, but again, it's 6 a.m. right now. It would be nice to sleep. It would be nice to get some sleep, and there are definitely some errands that I do have to run today as well, that I have to get to today. So tentative on that one. We might not be live for Pegasus Cup, but if we're not live for Pegasus Cup, there's other coverage, right? There's Pig. I mean, hey, it's his tournament. So Pig is usually live for that. Steadfast sometimes Chicken Man, sometimes Dave Testa. Bomyoja is usually there. He's usually live. Who else comes to mind? Other language streamers, of course, like Enki, like Rocklets as well. So yeah, there's going to be other forms of coverage for that tournament, so not the biggest of deals. This is also why I did prioritize RSL. If I wanted to, I could have slept and just woken up for Pegasus Cup, but we were the only English stream. so I did prioritize RSL because, you know, we were going to be the only English stream. For Pegasus Cup, there's other English streams. Right? There's other streams, there's other coverage, so it's a little bit less important that we're there for it. But regardless, that's typically what we cover on a weekly basis. Thursday is going to be the podcast. That is our weekly talk show where we talk all things StarCraft. We go over all the news, and all the tournament results as well. This schedule is not complete because we also have a morning broadcast for Thursday. We're going to be casting the OSC Rising Star Tournament Day 2. That's going to be a Thursday. We have the Sunny Lake Cup on Friday. We have Little League Cup on Friday. We have the Platinum Esports monthly tournament on Saturday. We have Sparkling Tuna Cup and StarCraft Evolution League as well. A very busy weekend. Something else that's not on the schedule here that we don't cast but we do work on behind the scenes is Euthermal's 2v2 circuit. That's also this weekend. It's going to be an intense weekend of StarCraft. We do admin that event. We do work behind the scenes to make sure that it runs as smoothly as possible. So again, we are working that in a different aspect, not in casting, but in adminning. We do cast the event sometimes via replays, but there's so many matches, and there's already so much casting that we do on a weekly basis anyway. There's a lower chance we're going to be covering that via replays, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see if we do find time to cover those replays. Otherwise, so much StarCraft going on, so much that we can't even fit everything into our schedule. And there's so much more as well with the Wardy TV Summer Championship, with RSL right around the corner as well. A lot of StarCraft as always, and of course with the French tournament, right? There was the French tournament, Maestros de StarCraft, that was announced not too long ago. That's going to be a big offline event happening in France. We also have Home Story Cup confirmed. We have the SC2 Safe House. We were the official B stream last year for the SC2 Safe House. We might be the B stream again this year. That's going to be I want to say in September. It's going to be next month. It's going to be big NA tournaments. So a lot of StarCraft, a lot of content as always. It's catching up. Catching up in the chat. Jumy has my yeah, Jumy, he's a lot of fun. He's a lot of fun to cast. A lot of fun to watch for sure. Easy play to get behind. A bunch of them went to Greece. Cyril's probably in the forest. He's playing golf in the forest. Yes, yes. The Zen. Do you know where the vote will happen? The Patreon. I believe the Patreon for RSL. Get some sleep back. I'll get some sleep. Thanks for what you do for us lurkers. Thank you. I appreciate the support. Appreciate the kind words. But yes, with that, we're going to be wrapping up. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks so much. Again, we are live on a daily basis, sometimes multiple times a day. We cast more StarCraft than any other channel out there, as we've only taken 4 days off the entire year. Only 4 days off from casting, and all of those days off were forced. Like, there was one day where I had no internet, I had no electricity, so specifically no internet, so I couldn't cast. There was another day, I took Christmas Day off. Not Christmas Eve, no, New Year's, but I took Christmas Day off. I remember that. Another day, recently, I had to take our pets to the vets, so I took a day off for that. Like another day off that was forced or something. So again, we've had 4 days off this year. Outside of that, non-stop StarCraft. So we'll see you guys next time. If you enjoy the content, if you see something that you like here, and if you can't watch it live, maybe it's at a really bad time slot for you, like the Tuna Cup or StarCraft Evolution or the Platinum Heroes monthly tournament or the Wardy TV Monday or RSL, then check us out over on YouTube. !! Socials in the chat. We do upload on YouTube on a daily basis, so all of our content, all the VODs are on YouTube. Likewise, we have a Twitter, we have Instagram, we have Facebook, we have TikTok, we have Blue Sky, Mastodon, we have Kick as well, where we're all over the place, all things CranKy Ducklings, so you can follow us there. Otherwise, thank you. Another quick thing that I will mention, quick plug, is our Patreon. You can see we currently earn just under 500 USD on Patreon. 100% of the money goes towards our tournaments. For those that are tuning in for the first time, we do host our own tournaments, and we do run our own weekly tournaments on a regular basis every Sunday. So we have the Wardy TV Mondays on Monday, we have the Pegasus Cup on Wednesday, and we have the Sparkling Tuna Cup on Sunday. We are one of the regular weekly tournaments for the scene, and we are funded by the people for the people. So thank you so much to all the supporters on Patreon. 100% of the money goes towards our tournaments, goes towards the prize pool, goes towards the players. We don't take any of that, not yet. Our next goal after this one would be at 550 USD. That's when we can finally start paying admins and casters, but that's a bit of a later goal, later stretch goal for that. For now, it's all towards the prize pool. So if you want to support us, you can do so via Patreon. Otherwise, thank you so much. Thank you so much. We'll see you guys next time. Again, Pegasus Cup is going to be in 4 hours time. We might not be live for that. If not, check out some of the other streams. Check out Steadfast, check out Pig, check out Dave Testa, Chicken Man, all the other guys. All the other community casters, they should be covering that event if we aren't. So there you go. Do have that later on in 4 hours. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time. Until then, ciao, bye, ciao, hasta luego. See you next time.